Hello, everybody. Anybody? Is there anybody out there? But hey, hey, hey. This is Slightly Slanted Sleuth for the Truth. 3-4 Truth coming your way from Oakdale. And I wanted to do a show on the state of our union. And the state of our union, I'm referring to the union with our higher self. The fact that the construct of our reality is the way it is, I think, is due to our separation from the truth and the union. Okay, now, who's here with me? What's up, Matt? Hold on, guys. I gotta answer this phone call. Hello?
Somebody from Sunray just left a message on the phone for you. Robbie, do you know who that is?
Yeah.
Something about a red eye league on Sundays. You might want to call him.
Yep. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Yep. Bye.
Hello. Did you guys hear that phone call? I'm sorry if I interrupted. But yeah. What up, Mr. Baxter? My brother from another mother. Now, I've set out on this journey, I don't know, 4 years ago, 5 years ago now. And it seems that our environment gives you the answers when you're, I don't know, when you're resolute in your search or you're focused on really truly finding what the truth is about. And it seems that our construct or our reality or our environment is one thing and one thing only. That being everything you look at, from the gas pedal under your foot of your car to the hair comb you use to comb your hair, is all one thing. We are fractals of that one thing. Just like you would say, how you take water. If you take a lake, you can separate that lake, but it's still water. And it all comes right back together, right? Like a magnet. You could break a magnet into 1,000 pieces. You can never separate the north from the south or the positive and the negative aspect, the duality of that created magnet into a monopole magnet, unless there's special forces induced upon it that are not following the physics of our world. What's up, brother? From another mother? Rakatamata. And right there, his name is testament to the fact that our environment speaks to us. And it either speaks to you through numbers or through words or what's up, Crystal? How you doing, sweetheart? Finally glad you could catch me on a live show here. But you see, the thing is that this reality is all we know because we are born ignorant of what we truly are capable of. And I wish I could convey to you the absolute, I don't know, through rocks mostly. Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm a stone, you know. And that Rakatamata, or architect, was what his name was when I originally met him. Wrote that word in a live stream one night, right around New Year's Eve 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, or a year ago, or whatever. And no, I think it was 2 years, wasn't it? But anyway, he wrote that word in the live stream, and that word came to me the night before, and I said, "Whoa!" And that's where it came to be. Now, Papa was a rolling stone on the cover of a Rolling Stone. Right. Now, I'm not going to pretend to be a physicist. I'm not going to lie to you and say I'm a professor. I'm not going to tell you that I'm this or I'm that. I'm going to tell you that, yeah, about 2 years. I'm going to tell you that my journey is that, just that, my journey. Now, I share my journey in hopes that in some way, shape, or form, it helps others and as well as helps me, which every one of you that have enlightened me with your presence has helped me in some way, shape, or form in my journey. And that I appreciate the utmost. Now, things being the way they are, the truth is so separated. What's up, Robert? The truth is so separated from what it truly is. You know, if there was more than one truth, then nothing would be true. Am I right about that, people? Nothing would be true if there were more than one truth. So therefore, truth is singular, meaning the singular nature of what we are has, through sound creation, light. Thank you, Crystal. You know, the Genesis story of the Bible. You know, through all of these means, the one, the singular, the singularity, which is right here, guys, at the center of this cross section. You know, and I can correlate that to the earth. You can correlate that to you. You can correlate that to the trees, to the tree of life. You could imprint all of it in the same crux, the cross and the circle combined. Now, the galaxy revolves around the stillness of a single point of pleroma, or stillness, which, in my humble opinion, more than opinion, it's learned fact, for me anyway, is that we are connected to that singularity, to all things, through the center of all things, because we are all one thing. We are all one energy. That energy is the soul force. Yes, the shining ones, the Anunnaki. That's what we become, Anunnaki, when we see the light. You know, all of these phrases in all of our days that we've encountered, you know, even the parables, the nursery rhymes. What's up, Paul from Newcastle? Glad you're here, bud. You know, all of these things, you know, the three blind mice, the Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, all of these nursery rhymes, everything we see, do, feel, build, appreciate, watch on the TV screen, everything we get involved with has to do with the story of ascension. And ascension is essentially going back to the one, going home. Now, you can look at it in an aspect of, like, certain people on YouTube like to look at it as a simulation, or certain people like to look at it as, you know, the Matrix, or, you know, it is a Matrix in a way, you know, not in the way of the movie, but it is a Matrix of sorts. Now, the Matrix is a womb, you know, so, but I got sidetracked there. Now, people want to convolute everything and give interpretations, me included. I've been guilty of that in the past. Me included. I've given interpretations and suggested definitions for things that I was way off on. And every time I was off on something, I corrected myself, and I've come full circle. I mean, for God's sake, you know, no pun intended, I created my channel on the fact of filming the sky. And there's nothing wrong with filming the sky, because it is the way we wake up. We must first see the outside signs to go within, because that is essentially what the singularity is. Now, singularity is truth, because there is one truth. The singularity is where God's throne is, you know, where the four rivers, flow from his footstool. Now, that is the spiral arms of the galaxy. That is also the elements of our earth. That is also the elements of our psyche. That is also the elements of everything. That's what I mean by. Thank you, Free Press. I will definitely check that out. But yeah, now we, by definition, are fractals of the one, sent out from ourself to accomplish the reunification and the experience of that journey to reunification from fool to hero. It's the hero's journey in essence. It is everything that grabs us as human beings, as creatures of the deep. We are the creatures in which create the very thing that created us. You understand what I mean by that? Without the light, there would be no me or you. There would be no you or I. There would be no we, he, she, or we without the light. The light is the vibratory perturbation in the vacuous, or in the cosmos, that, the Trinity is God, body, and what else, guys? What else? Spirit, right? Or it's the two poles that run up the spine to the third eye. Yes, mushrooms don't need much light. Right. Thoth, how you doing, Miles? But, all of this geometry, it's embedded within our languages. It's embedded within our words. It's embedded within our letters. Every letter, like the Aleph of the Hebrew alphabet, the B, the house of bread, the Alpha, the Omega. The magnetic field of the earth is the same as the aurora or the aura of us. People say they can read aura. Well, we have an aura. The earth has an aura. The sun has an aura. The galaxy has an aura. And here's Stan Tenon's work. I suggest everybody check that out. Here's the formula for the mathematics and geometry. Sorry, guys. I hope I didn't startle anybody with that phone call. But we are incumbent or here to create the inverse, or transmute the inverse into the out and back into the in, if that makes any sense to you. The spin we are in is to win, Flynn. Galaxies. The reason why, okay, now our microwave background, yes, the aura, I believe, is the conduit between us and the soul force, or the spirit of God, or the ether. We are in essence the carrier of the flame of our event horizon is our microwave background. The microwave background we see. So if we were to travel to the singularity, this is how the singularity is timeless in time, dimensionless and dimension all in one. This is how everything exists all in one thing. The cross section, this is why Orion looks like this. You ever think of that, guys? Orion looks like that. And where are the belt stars? Right here. Right at the blow point. Right at the bling bling point. Yes, anima, animate. Yes. What was that? Take your time going back. Okay, thank you. Yes. Now, we're going back to the singularity. And while we're going in, while that's the in breath and the out breath, everything has an ebb and a flow to it. That is the rhythm of the cosmic cycle. That is the point. And these 2 points, when they meet, isn't that oddly like the vortex math setup, where it has this thing? You know what I mean? That's where the doubling circuit is. You know what I mean? Because this is 3, 4, and then you get what I'm getting at here. So the 369 is the go that made it, the JoJo that made it go. We are entering the out breath now. Your guess is as good as mine, but yeah, the expansion of the universe, I think, is directly connected to the expansion. Now, I think it always expands in a way, but it's got like a cone, like a light cone, where we go in and we go out. The Ishtaf Bentiv, or is it Bentov, that he did all of these illustrations here. The sine wave, yes. Yes, there you go. This right here. Yes. Now, the sine wave is nothing more than the double helix, or one aspect of the double helix of a DNA strand. And in essence, that's what the galaxies are. That's what everything is. We are leaving a trail behind us in a vortex fashion, as we're traveling through space, as the galaxy is, as the universe is, as, we are like the Russian doll. We are inside the inside, inside the inside, inside the inside, inside the inside. Yes, Vesica Pisces, yes. We go up and down, yes. We travel up and above and below. As above, so below, the same thing. Now, the galactic jets that come out of the galaxy are akin to the radiation, the entropy, or the fractalization, or the magnetism, I guess. So it'd be like our body is the galactic jets. This is God's spirit. But I think it's the opposite. I think the dielectric is the entropy or the decay. And I think this is the God spirit. Yeah, picture in a picture. Oh, yeah, here. Yeah, my favorite analogy. Thank you for reminding me of that, Scotty boy, because I'm going to bring you guys right to the crux of what our reality is. I'm going to show you exactly what our reality is. And this is it. It's going to sound messed up, but bear with it, because this is our reality. But bear with it, because this is our reality. But bear with it, because this is our reality. But bear with it, because this is our reality. But bear with it, because this is our reality. But bear with it, because this is our reality. But bear with it, because this is our reality. Now, do you see what I mean, guys? That, in essence, is what it's all about. We are creation within the creation, creating a creation that the creation is aware of the creation. So therefore, that creation is all that there is. We're not God. We can be minor gods, or cosmic gardeners, or ones that purvey. The more you watch that, the more it makes sense. Yes, that's what I'm talking about, man. And that is the simplest, most layman way I could explain it to anybody. And I feel it a great pleasure to have come across that knowledge. And that's what I mean. Yes, we are the ones that are viewing it and creating it. That is the whole seed of life principle, the whole seed to tree to seed concept. The 5, with this clay we make bricks, which is information to make comparisons. The pyramid is nothing more than the heart vibration electrical generator. Yes, your reality has more P in it. To believe you're alive is to be the source. Correct. Yes. Now, and people. People want to say this is fake, that's fake, the Bible is this, the Bible is that. The Bible is convoluted, I agree. But that the Bible is not for our finite mind to comprehend. We, by religious practice and ritual and whatever you want to call it, we need it to remember it. We personified Jesus to remember Jesus. If we thought of Jesus as just an energy, or some idol you put on a shelf, we would not remember the stories of Jesus. No, 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 no. It didn't. Who is observing all the stuff in deep space is us in our mind thought. Miles, have you ever seen those articles on Google where it says our brain looks just like the neurons in our brain look just like the web of our galaxy, of our universe? You know, the synapse or the firings of our neurons in our brain are nothing more than, or nothing less than. Hey, what's up, Elsie? What's up, Paula? How are you doing, sweetheart? I hope you're feeling better. I hope you're not having to go out and get. All is mind. Yes, all is mind. All is consciousness. You know, and the stillness of the center of the galaxy is the same as the stillness that we find within us when we come to the conclusion, when we really truly understand that living through our heart, through stern conviction for truth, and realizing that truth is good. I'm glad you're feeling better. Aaron's here. What's up, my brother from another mother? Down under. How are you doing, buddy? Glad you could join me. But yeah, you know, and this stillness at the center of the singularity is something not to be feared. It's not, you know, it's like the most fearful things in our reality are the things we should be investigating the most, not because they're scary, but because they're coined as fear or fearful, or you should be scared of them. Like the black hole is going to crush everything. You know, explain this to me. Why are there pine cones in every one of these deities' hands, or, you know, these Mesopotamian pictographs' hands? You know, the angels, they have wings, you know. Mind, body, emotions, yes. Now, and at the top of the Hermes staff right there is, you know, where the coiling snakes is the pine cone. I mean, there's pine cones everywhere. Why? Why is there pine cones? Because that is the truth. Yes, be still and know I am God. Right. Yes, using, now, the Orion constellation. I wanted to get into that a little bit. Now, the Orion constellation is in our cosmos, and it looks like this. Now, what does that look like to you? That looks like the pyramids, or the vortex math principle, right? The belt is right here, right? So you could consider that the Barnard's loop, which emanates from that center, comes out like this. Now, what does that tell you? Pine cone is the pineal gland. Yes, it is. And that's why in the center of the Vatican courtyard, they have a pine cone statue in the middle of their central courtyard, you know? That's my daughter, Jillian. But yeah, we have it all over the place. The signs of this knowledge is everywhere. These places in Angkor Wat, Angkor Thom, you know, the faces, and then they got pine cones on top of their heads. They look like just like pine cones. The 369 frequency map, correct. Now this is a depiction of what? What does that look like to you guys? You know? What does that look like? First of all, there's a cross in the middle, right? Fibonacci 369. Pine cone in the center of the Vatican represents it. Yes. The pineal gland. Yes, it does. And the Vatican, the Pope, all of these religious leaders, they have to know the truth. Because the statuary is staring them in the face. You know? Now, all of this stuff is always surrounded by water. Why, guys? Because the waters of noon is the cosmic ocean. The vacuous potential of energy that we are born out of. We are born from the waters of noon. That's why the mitre hat of the Pope is shaped as a fish. You know, it looks like a fish hat, and its symbolic meaning is several. You know, you can think of it as the snake opening its mouth, like at the Serpent Mound in Ohio. You know, Serpent Mound Park, where the snake's eating the egg. You know, that's the same. If they did not know suicide, Waters of life, flesh. What are you talking about? Waters of life equal fresh water. Yes, but waters of life is the flood of knowledge coming up our Kundalini experience. That's what Noah's flood is. You know, waters above, waters below, born in the water. Yes, and we are said to come from, evolve from the ocean. And that's why I think in like Peru, where they're finding in these Naztec lines, the Naztec lines, the big huge lines that can be seen from the air. These are made out of seashells and stuff. Now, why is that? Why is that? Because they're commemorating the simple fact that we were born in the waters of noon, the chaotic energy potential of walking on water, mastering walking on water. Walking on water is, yes, walking on water, the Jesus of walking on water, it has to do with the light in the abyss, the light in the blackness of the chaotic waters of noon. What falls from the pineal gland every new moon, you push back up every full moon, the water. Yes. But yes, okay, now these are always surrounded by water. Okay? And in the center, that's what the pyramid also represents. The pyramid is the primordial mound, the first solid ground to stand on, which you can call it the Mountain of God, you can call it Mount Meru, you can call it Mayat, you can call it, all of this stuff. And yeah, maritime law is exactly why it's worded that way, and why religions and certain things. But this also looks like a bifurcation, a bifilar coil, a Tesla bifilar coil. Also looks like, I don't know if you guys are aware of what is it called? There was an incident in space where they filmed these things that look like this, and they had a gap in them, like a piece of pie, like a Pac-Man thing, and they look like this. Yes, never take anything from the Bible as literal, because it's not literal. It's not literal at all. It's always allegorical. Always. It's mind coitus. It's something to keep. It's something to keep it there, right in our face. It's like everything, guys. Everything in our reality is right in front of us. We just either decide not to be bothered with it, or decide not to pursue it. Because even though it's right there, it still is hard to grab. Yes, and the Saturn is a microcosm of the macrocosm, which is the macrocosm of the microcosm, which is, has to do with the whole aspect of we are in the in. Can I come in the out now? Yes, making the two one again is essentially what everything's about. Now, this is the same as the pyramid, this whole setup right here, because there is 4 to the 5th. All of these rise up to the 1. They bring us to the single point of truth. All of these sites in ancient days. I mean, imagine back then how this would have took, how long this would have took to build. Just imagine that. Yeah, I don't know about any of that stuff, and that's for me the whole figuring out the cosmos is secondary to figuring out what is really. I guess the cosmos is a path to find. See, that's what I mean by it's personal. For me, it's more of I'm figuring out what's around me and what I can tangibly look at, experience, and I guess no, cosmos it was a way for me to figure out what is what, and I say that Orion is just a representation of this, just a micro of this macro. We are in the black hole, in the Milky Way. We are on the decay disk. The accretion disk is Only so wide. Why? And if we were interstellar travelers, or we were able to travel interstellarly, why would the asteroid belt or the Kuiper belt or the said belts be an obstacle for anybody? You know what I mean? Yes, exactly. Printed circuits are a micro of the macro, right? Exactly, and that's like in church steeples. Churches. You're welcome, Scotty. In churches, yes, everyone has their. That's what. See now, who said prison planet? Joyce. Prison Planet. Okay, now that's the reason why I wanted to do this is because of that aspect of how everybody looks at everything in a negative. I'm not saying there isn't negative or malevolent against benevolent, because without that there is no materialism. There is no material matter manifested. Okay, and it's not a prison. We can look at it like that, but if you think it's a prison, that's where you're going to be stuck in jail. And there's going to be no bars holding me back, so I'm not going to think of it as a prison. For me, it is a place. Yes, our mind is exactly, yeah. Now, the prison planet, I understand, Joyce, where that comes from, because the now get this. Now, I was just telling you that I think Orion is the hourglass or the hyperboloid of stop thinking long enough, right? And that's hard for me to do. I can't do that yet. Not yet. But isn't it odd that the most powerful source that we know of in our cosmos, the black hole? Yes, I watched that, Paula. I seen that. And I don't agree with that at all, what that guy's talking about. None of it. I don't agree with none of it. And I don't know why, but it just didn't sit right with me. So I just don't, But the meditation, you could call it meditation. You could call it sitting on the toilet looking at the ceiling meditation. For me, I don't call it meditation. I think constantly, and I'm always in silence thinking. So, I don't listen to the radio anymore out loud. The only thing I do is think, and bowl. That's pretty much it, and take care of my family and try to go to work or whatever, on the treadmill. Now, when I said this Orion thing, okay, yeah, I thought you were sharing it with me because I watched it and I just didn't, it didn't sit right with me. So, but anyway, the whole reflection, the reflecting pond. Does anybody have an answer for that? Why is the Washington Monument in front of the reflecting pond? Why are all these? Yes. Yes, and why is there reflecting ponds around monuments like this, guys? Other than the fact that it's the waters of noon and it's the primordial mound. That's the one aspect. Why do you guys think this is? Why do you think there's a reflection? Do you think that is the reflection of our reality? Do you think that's why there is a reflective pond by all of these? Okay, now the buildings, most buildings like in New York have a fountain outside of them. Okay? You know what the fountain represents? Fountain is the light. The building is the cosmos. Or the underworld. Or the cosmos. But yeah, these look like electrical circuits. They're also depictions of atoms, molecules. Yes. Yeah, we're born upside down, right? Coming out of the womb, right here, the Vesica Pisces. The two coming together to produce the one. And it oddly looks like the magnetic field of the Earth. Right? And it's the same as this. Right? This geometry right here is everything, guys. You know, and we're born from here. The center of all things. The center of all things is in you. The center of all things is in me. The center of all things is in my dog. The center of all things is in my tree. The center of all things is within everything you see. I am Dr. Seuss. I'm on the loose. Watch out, because I'll get ran over by your moose. I'm stupid, I know. But yeah, the apple core of life is the apple core we know. Yes, water does, especially salt water. Yes, a thoth. Yes, a thoth is yes. I agree with all of that. Yes, and every one of us has to come to the what's up, Daddy Madass? Come to our own discern truth, and you know our own discerned truth doesn't necessarily make it true. The only time we're going to know truth is when we build our pyramid. Now, the whole pyramid thing is distilled water doesn't hold a charge. Why do they have us put distilled water in batteries then? Yes, I've actually had an NDE, and it wasn't like I met God or anything. It was I just realized I was above my body, and that was until several years later that I realized this. Actually, a lot of years later. And yes, I watched a lot of when I first started my journey into all of this esoteric stuff. I started watching NDE videos, and I forget her name, but her name is Patty something. Distilled water, electrolyte. Yeah, you're supposed to use distilled water and aspirins to refresh a battery. You know, your car battery. And you know the path to our soul is through the light of creation, and the light of creation is the path of our soul. You understand that? That's what I'm trying to get at here. The loop is complete within us. As odd as that may sound, and as crazy as that may sound, that is the truth. Yes, the pyramid stacking. Yes, all of this geometry is here for a reason. You know, the cross and the circle combined. You know, this Anu thing right here, that's why I keep this my avatar now. Because this is the surfactant that holds everything together and connects us to the center of all things. That's why our heart has 7 layers of heart muscle. That's who turned to the pillar of salt. Yes, there you go. Yeah, exactly. Very good. That's a good point right there, Free Press. I agree with that. You know, and Anu is the toroidal vortex of the universal geometry of being. You know, this is the thing that connects everything. You know, and it's not just our pineal gland that is the key, because it's our heart and our mind that make us or break us. Because if your heart is not in unison with your mind, your desire is not set forth in the right direction. You know what I mean by that? It's like the woman and her desire. And if her desire is not focused in the right direction, the man will wander. You know what I mean? So the man is the wisdom, or the brain, I guess. And the woman is the heart. You could think of it as that way. And if the woman's desire is not towards its mind and the betterment of all, then the man is in his knowledge will stray and become ignorant and go down the wrong paths, or be steered, and not. I always thought, "Who give us the names for Anu?" Yeah. Yes, the Anu, the Anunnaki. That's where that term comes from. The Anunnaki is a true thing, and we can all become that. We can all become Anunnaki, which means Sky Father on Earth. Sky Father is the Anu because the Sky Father is everything. Is everything, guys. And that's what I mean by salt is salt keeps away unwanted spirits. Salt is actually I think it's the thing that sterilizes and keeps things electrified. I guess I don't know. I think maybe that's the capacitor of our Earth. Why it keeps spinning. It has to do with the oceans and the water and the tides, the ebb and the flow, the friction. It's not just the spinning in the core and all this other garbage that they want us to think. I believe that they're at the center of the earth is the coldest, most powerful thing. At the center of us is the coldest, most powerful thing. The blue flame of life, the blue flame of flower of life. Is at the center. The plasma is cold plasma is at the center of everything. Corners of the house. Room. What do you mean by that? Yeah, okay, yeah. The four corners brought to the one, the fifth element. Salt keeps away unwanted spirits, corners of the house. Room. Oh, I got you. You mean you sprinkle it in? Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay. I understand what you mean by that now. It's like burning, right? There's also push and pull energy, yes. And that's why there's a yin and a yang to everything. That's why the dark, without the dark, the light would not exist. Without the light, the dark would not be defined, Or you cannot find definition in darkness without the light. It's like looking at the sky when it's blue. This is one of Phil's analogies, which is spot on. You look at a crystal blue sky, you cannot discern what distance is until there's a cloud there, right? You know what I'm saying? It was Lot's wife that turned to a pillar of salt due to her looking back to the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, which was, in a moral standpoint, which was what? Now, I don't even know if that's the way to truly interpret that either, because, it is, because there's several ways. In all of Scripture, there's several ways of interpreting it, as long as you stay away from the carnal aspect or the matter aspect of it. I'll check that out. But hey, guys, I wanted to just point out to you guys that, we're like pit bulls on pork chops, man. If we keep this up and we keep our mind in the game and we keep our hearts where they're supposed to be and not defile our existence by giving too much of our power away via the negative, Sure, there's malevolent forces in our world, and the truth is it berates us daily. It's indifferent to what we are. Our creation is not going to bend over for anybody, Our creation is not going to bend for anybody. It is truth at its utmost simplest form is life. And life can throw curveballs. Life can throw you bones, The day. Did you know the word day is actually God? Means God. Right here. Sky, heaven, God. That's where day comes from. So every day, every God, the house of bread is presented before you. When the sun rises, goes to its noon, which is the pinnacle, which is our where we need to go, to our pinnacle pineal creation, and to refresh the creation itself. And did you know night is devoid of spirit? That's what it says right here. So hey, live, love, pay it forward, love it forward. Love your neighbor like you love yourself. Love yourself, because there's nothing else. Because we are all one. No other can come between us or keep us away from each other. Because we are one thing and one thing only. Treat everybody as you want to be treated. Do not throw rocks at glass houses. People that live in glass houses should not throw rocks, And I've been guilty of that several times in the past. I've bit my nose or chopped my nose off my face. Yes, exactly. Yes, discerning. That is exactly what it is. And it also exemplifies or resembles or represents the hero's journey of life. Yes. That's what and it builds a pyramid in the sky, you know? What did you use earlier? Use that today earlier. What did you use? Oh, yeah, don't throw rocks in glass houses. Yeah, it's a good one to live by because, you must. Another one from Phil is, you must remove the plank or the log out of your eye before you can tell your brother to get the speck out of his. You know, so pyramid of the third eye. Yes, that is why on the dollar bill there is an eye and a triangle on the dollar bill because this is known either uh, intentionally suppressed so they could keep the power. And I hate we're using the word they because they are us too. Without them, who would we be? Love, peace, chicken grease, guys. Don't turn your back on an owl because that owl could be the key to finding what's at the center of a Tootsie Roll, Tootsie Pop.